got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, pork, dog, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Women's Basketball Edition, and my guest for this week's show was none other than senior post player on the women's basketball team here at Menlo College, Destinee Bowie. Destinee, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you didn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
We'll get into it later about exactly what she didn't do, but you'll probably cringe laugh later on when the time comes, but definitely. I'm glad we're talking in normal voices, at least to begin the show. Earlier this year, Alyssa Gable mentioned that you are one of the best rappers and you love mashing up songs. What's your favorite mashup of all time?
Okay, so you know the You Name It challenge, the Thanksgiving one? When
Yes.
It's like greens, beans, potatoes. That's like my favorite. I like that a lot.
Just because it's about, it's got a holiday in there, because it's got food?
I like food. But I think it's funny because it was a lady at church.
True.
You've seen the video?
True, I have, yes.
That's my favorite mashup.
Okay, so now let's go back to Thanksgiving and food. What's your favorite food?
I like Thanksgiving, out of Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Meal, I eat all the rolls.
All the rolls?
I get in trouble. My mom limits me, but I eat all the rolls.
How many rolls do you think you could eat?
I could eat the whole bag. The Hawaiian rolls?
Oh yeah,
the
king
pack of
rolls?
12,
Yeah.
I can probably eat all those.
But I mean, they're kind of small, so...
So then 2 of them, I'll eat 2.
So you're gonna go 24, you're gonna go 24 pack of Hawaiian rolls?
They're really good.
I mean, they are, but my goodness.
I love rolls. I had 6, I think, Thanksgiving. And they're the, normals.
That's carbo loading up right
Yeah,
there.
and stuffing, so it's all carbs.
Of course. Now, your game has always been stellar, but it seems like this year you've really taken it up a notch from the level at which you normally perform at. What did you work on this offseason that really helped take your game to the next level?
So I know a lot of people would be like, oh, I was in the gym all day, strengthening, which I did. I stayed over summer and I strengthened my leg, my knee. But for me, it was more mental. Because once I hurt my knee, I didn't mean to, but I just had no confidence in my knee or myself. So I really worked on strengthening it.
Yeah.
And then once I felt that it was I can feel it getting stronger, and it boosted my confidence a little bit. So I have more of my mental and confidence in myself and my body.
Yeah, and the further away you get from that injury, of course, too, the more time
Right.
that elapses from it. How big was that game earlier in the year against Holy Names to get fully past what happened?
How big was the game?
Yeah, in terms of did you go into that game remembering what happened the year before?
Oh, when we played them this year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was I was I don't know. It felt weird, but it was good to win.
Of course.
I was we're gonna win, and
Of
I'm
course.
not gonna get hurt.
And both those things happened,
Yeah.
and you won in very convincing fashion.
Yes.
Now let's talk a little bit about the Oaks now. You got back into conference play last week. You took a pair of losses against ranked teams within the conference. It was a rough weekend, so what have you done this week to put that week of travel behind you?
Yeah, that hurt a different way for sure. I don't know. I think we're using it to feel this week, we got beat by and it doesn't sit right. So we're mad. So we're gonna work hard. We work harder. These week's games, we're giving it all we got.
Yeah. Now, you did have nearly an improbable comeback against Westmont on Thursday. You were down 16 early against one of the best defensive teams in the country, and eventually you made it a one-possession game. What really kind of kick-started that comeback? What did you ladies find out, or what adjustment did you make mid-game to get things rolling?
Coach put us in that diamond press, AB up top on the ball, and AB has really long arms. So I think after I don't think we usually run that. We don't actually, and so AB was up there, and when she got turnovers and we scored it, let's go, this is it, this is gonna work. So we pressed harder. So we needed that to fuel us to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good.
Get back to it this week.
Right.
And put last week behind you.
Right.
Really all you can do at this point. Now, 2018 was full of memories for the Oaks. You guys finished the year ranked number 11 in the NAIA. What was your favorite memory from the start of this 2018-19 season?
I know it's the Hope game. It was bad, but it felt good to come out on top. So that was kind of my favorite feeling. We did it in overtime and we worked, and we came out on top. And then also the Arizona trip, the first 2 games, beating Carroll and Providence, big teams that felt really good. So those are like my favorite memories.
Yeah. And that Hope game was one of the best games of the season so far, at least to watch. Maybe not for you ladies, being that it was such a tight game, but from a fan's perspective, seeing a back and forth contest in the conference opener. And
like half of us, our starters fouled out. It was like crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But we won. So.
And a big performance from Mira Lovsenko in that game as well to get you through in overtime. Now back at home this weekend, you take on San Diego Christian and 5th-ranked Vanguard University. We all know what happened the last time Vanguard came here when they were ranked number 1. What do the Oaks need to do this week to ensure a similar outcome to the last time the Lions came here to Atherton?
I think just we need to step our game up. Like, I think we need to, they're like rankings, like numbers are really like, but we need to like play the way we play, and I think we could. If we had all like consistent energy, we're working hard. If everyone's working hard at every moment, I don't see why we can't do it again.
You play a solid 4 quarters of basketball and you win every quarter.
Simple.
You're probably winning the basketball game. That's how it goes. All right, DB, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 off-the-wall questions. You give me your best bloody answer.
Okay.
All right, question number 1. Which teammate is most fond of crumpets and tea?
You know, I'm...
That didn't last long at all.
Okay, so, you know, I've got to say Salome, actually. She's always eating, like, for breakfast, she's always dipping like her toast and peanut butter like in coffee or tea, always. So I would just have to say Salome.
Well, she also has the unfair advantage of being the closest to London, where they often indulge in the crumpets and tea, so that's kind of an unfair edge, but I'll give you that one anyways. Question number 2, which teammate is most likely to take a tourist selfie at the Big Ben in London?
I would have to say Anya, actually. She's always taking pictures, so I think that Anya would be the one to do that.
So she's the one who's got the most followers on the Instagram?
Yes, of course.
Do you know how many followers she has on the Instagram?
I don't know Anya, but I'll find out.
It's probably something like 2,000. I'm going to guess like 2,000 followers on Instagram.
Has to be.
I love how when I say Instagram, I kind of lose the accent. Like I can't say Instagram
I can't even.
in an accent. So we'll move on to question number 3 here. If one teammate could meet the Queen, who would it be and why?
You know, I don't have an answer for this one. I'm not quite sure, but I don't know.
You have to know somebody on the team who wants to meet the Queen.
I've asked everyone.
And no one says they want to meet the Queen?
I've asked everyone. I would say, I'm just going to take this one. I'd meet the Queen.
I was going to say, if you can't pick somebody, you have to own it yourself.
Right,
because
I'll meet her.
You are the one who talks about 25% of the time in an accent, and you have just completed about 25% of the interview conversing in a, made-up word, in a British accent.
You know, it's kind of hard, but you've got to do what you got to do.
It's also quite terrible, if I do say so myself. So we're going to drop it. Destinee, thanks for joining me on the show. I appreciate it. You're welcome, folks. The women's basketball team, they are at home this weekend. They have the big match against 5th-ranked Vanguard University on Saturday afternoon inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. Tip-off starts at 2 o'clock. If you can't make it out, I'll be on the call with Ryan Barnett live on the Menlo College Sports Network. We invite you to tune into next week's episode of Unrooted Women's Basketball Edition when Destinee Bowie will select the next interviewee by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on the show. Until then, we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weeks, everybody. That was a terrible way to wrap
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, hog, dog. Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat. You name it. Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb.